A quick note before I start this video. From here on out, the format of the videos is going to change just a little bit to help me make these videos a little bit faster so that you can get the content faster. I do plan on going back and polishing these videos up, but before now, you've noticed that the videos were very streamlined and had a lot of edits done to them to ensure that you're able to get the information as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, this takes a lot of time to produce, and since I'm limited on time, I'm not able to produce these videos as fast as I wanted to. So with that, I'll be doing a more live demo style video. And then once I'm finished with all the content, I'll come back to these and streamline them and polish them up to the level they deserve. With that, let's get started with the hasFocus command. hasFocus is a simple state command that will return true or false if the selected DOM element has focus. So for example, the search field, if I click on it, it now has focus. On our product page, we have a review field. And when we enter in no content and then hit submit review, notice the focus will jump to the email address form field. We're going to test this in our WebdriverIO script and ensure that when you're submitting a form that have errors in the review, the focus is set to the first input field that has an error. For example, if I added an email address but didn't include a review and then hit submit review, the focus will now jump to the second field, which is the review content. I'll copy out my comment that I left and paste it in to my it statement, and then I'll start my test. The first thing I'm going to do is validate that my review email field doesn't have focus. I do this to make sure that my test is actually in a good state to start with. Into the hasFocus command, I'm going to pass the selector for my email input. Then I'll add an assertion. I'll add a comment. And then expect this to be false. Okay, so this should validate that my input field doesn't have focus so that in case it did have focus and the script didn't actually move the focus to the input field, it doesn't have a false positive. The next thing I'm going to do is just submit the form. And then I'm going to do another assertion expecting that my email input now does have focus. I'm going to add the only flag to this script because I don't want to worry about running all my other tests at this time. And then I'll also use the spec argument to ensure that I'm only running this review test. Okay, it passes. If I were to change this to false, I should expect this test to fail because it's saying that we expected the email input not to be focused, but it's focused. That's the basics of the hasFocus command. Let's add some more tests around this. So one thing you notice is that if I did have a valid input here, if I hit submit review, it jumps to the next field that's an invalid value. So let's go ahead and write a test for this. We'll set the value to our email input. And then we'll submit the form again. And then this time we'll assert that our review content has focus. So again, we'll set a variable and we'll pass in the selector for our review content input field. We'll do our assertion as normal, asserting that the content field now has focus. I'll go ahead and save it and let's run this test again. And we have a passing test. So that's it for the hasFocus command. It's pretty simple. It just returns true or false if the DOM element currently has focus. You can use this for fields that have autofocus to make sure that when the page loads, it automatically focuses on the field. For some other examples on our website, we have our accordion that when we click on the accordion, the focus is still on that link. This is for accessibility purposes. That way I can use the keyboard to navigate around the accordion if I can't use a mouse or I don't have a mouse available. You can also see on our slideshow on the home page, when we click the arrow, the focus stays on that arrow and I can hit Shift Tab and go back and hit Enter. So I could do some testing here as well to make sure that when I click on these arrows or when I press enter on them and navigate to the next item in our slideshow, the focus still remains on those arrows.